Hello everyone, today we're going to be doing a press-on order, and also please ignore my desk. I know it is very messy, but it's fine. I'm going to be using a dental bib to cover my desk, and this will just protect it from any of the stuff that I'm going to be using, like chemicals or gels or anything. This bottle has isopropyl alcohol in it, and I know it is disgusting and gross looking, but I literally just ordered a new one, so that will be new and clean soon. And this is just my dampen dish that I use to clean my brushes. This is the product that I use to clean off my brushes. Now, I wouldn't recommend it because I've heard that it's bad for your brushes, but I personally have never had an issue with it. But I just fill my dampen dish with it, and when I'm ready to clean my brush, I just swirl it around and we're good to go. These are the paint palettes that I use. They're nothing fancy. You can use whatever you'd like. I just have these sitting around because I've got them for free in the past. And then these are my nail stands. These were like $4 on Amazon, so... Also, you guys, I'm going to try and link everything in the description, so if you see something that you like, then you can check it out. But if it's not in the description and you want the link or some way to find it, just let me know and I will try my best to get that to you. These are the main brushes that I use. I get them out for every single set that I do without fail. Like, these are used on 99% of my sets, so I always get those out. I'm using sculpted medium square tips from Apres, and yeah, like nothing fancy, just the Apres tips, sculpted square. I've got all of the sizes taken, and then I'm just going to stick them onto my little nail stands, and then after I get them all on here, we can start prep on the nails, but you'll see that in just a second. And I don't think there's really much else I need to explain. You can see what I'm doing. We're just putting the nails on the stands. So I'll shut up and let you guys watch me do this. I did wash my hands before starting, but I'm going to sanitize the crap out of them again just for good measure before actually starting. And I'm using my little cute Hello Kitty Touchland hand sanitizer. So then I'm using a 100 grit file to slightly get the little nibs off the end of these nails, because I mean, if you've worked with press-on nails before, you know that they come with those annoying little nibs on the tip. But the real shaping will come at the end. This is just to get like a better shape than what you start with, you know? I don't know, it's just a little improvement. Nothing crazy. Like I've said that like 15 times, I don't know. Guys, I'm sorry, I talk a lot, but it's fine, because I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we're just filing the little tips, and then the real filing will come at the very end, but I'm gonna shut up now. I go in with the Creation Soft Tip Primer Extension, whatever, tip extension primer, but this is what I use as like a chemical etching agent, chemical etcher. And it's basically like, instead of having to buff the nails with a file, you can get this and scrub it all over the nail, and it'll rough it up and create kind of a sticky surface so that your gel will actually stick to it and not like start peeling up. Because when I was first starting doing nails, I did not do this and I didn't buff, so my nails would always like peel, and obviously we don't want that, especially if I'm selling it as a product. So definitely do this, and it saves you a lot of time and you don't have to deal with all the dust. So I love chemical etching. I love it so much. For my base gels, or like my nude gels, I'm using How Do You Neutral from D&D, and it's very universal. Like, it's my most used nude gel besides Picnic for Two, which is also from D&D, but I just love this one. It's very good. I would highly recommend, especially if you have a hard time finding nudes. I love this one. I use it for 99% of my sets. Then I'm going in with the ChaunLegendailtutorial polish in the shade Basic Pitch. This is just going to be the base for my tortoiseshell design. This is so that the tortoiseshell will not be see-through, because the color that I go in for the actual orangey brown base is going to be a jelly color, and I want to put this on as like a nude kind of base. and it just, I don't know, it looks so much better when it's not completely see-through. Unless you like it that way, then we can do it that way, but this is just how it looked in the inspo pic, so that's why I'm doing this base instead of just the see-through. Now I'm looking for a good maroon shade, and I ended up using Winterberry from DND, which is this one in the middle right here. Also, I know that we just started the tortoiseshell design, but if you notice, I do skip around a lot. If you haven't noticed it, you will starting now, because now we're starting a completely different nail. But I have ADHD, and it's just a lot easier for my brain to do one thing, go to a completely different one, and then come back. So hopefully you get the idea of what I'm doing. And yeah, just don't question me, okay? It's fine. Then I'm going in with the little sponges to do my aura, and this little tool to help me grab the little sponges. I did end up going in with the airbrush later on because this didn't really turn out exactly how I would have liked it to, but when I don't feel like doing the airbrush, I use these little sponges. The gel you see me using here is just a very opaque, very thick gel, and this is what I prefer to use for any type of gel aura that I'm doing. I don't like to use thin gels because it just never comes out the same. We're skipping around once again. I'm just doing a second coat of that maroon color because the first coat was a little see-through. It didn't really show up see-through on camera, but it was in person, so I'm just doing a second coat very quickly before we do the aura. When I do aura with a sponge, I like to just stamp it in there one time, and then I will go off and like stamp it multiple times, like really beat it up in there to load up the sponge, and then you're good to go. You can start putting it on the nail. I'll stamp it onto the middle of the nail, and I won't really like take it out too far because I like to go in with a clean sponge and then diffuse the edges. Originally, I was going to use this bonfire shade to do the outline, but I actually did not like how much it blended with the base color, so I went back in with the fire engine red, and that was a lot better in terms of like it being lighter. It did not show up that well on camera, but I promise you it looked a lot better in person. And now we're gonna finish up the tortoiseshell nail. I'm using this jelly like burnt orange brown color from Born Pretty, and that's gonna be the actual color base for my tortoiseshell. Also, it's okay if this one comes out streaky because it kind of just adds to the depth of that tortoiseshell look, so it's okay if it looks a little streaky. After that is cured, I'm going in with the D&D DC blooming gel, and this is a very thick blooming gel, so I just do very thin coats, and you do not want to cure this, okay? We're going to put our color over top, and that's what's going to make it bloom out and look like a tortoiseshell. Onto the uncured blooming gel, I'm going to use Walnut Brown from D&D DC, and this is going to be the first layer of the tortoiseshell because we will go in with black on top of this, but this is just going to be the base, and it creates a lot more depth and dimension and that really cool tortoiseshell look. I also flip my hand upside down just to make the gel go to the center instead of going to the sides, because then it looks really bulky and gross. That is how we are looking with the first layer cured, and then I'm going to go in again with a very thin layer of the blooming gel, and then in the center of those brown dots that we just did, I'm going to go in with Black Ocean from D&D and put dots right on top of the other dots. That's going to be the final step in the tortoiseshell nail, and once it blooms to how you like it, you can cure it and you're done. Next, we have these fancy little Frenchy designs, and I'm going to use white chalk from D&D DC to create those little designs, and I'm going to do the little line for the French and then make a circle on the end, and then just fill that in with the brush from the bottle, and then to get into all the little cracks and crevices, I'm going to use my liner brush. Now for the pinky, we're going to do another tortoiseshell, except it's not going to be the whole nail. It's only going to be in a French tip, so I'm not going to explain it again just because I already did. So if you need to remember how to do the tortoiseshell, you can just rewind the video a little bit. but the only difference with this nail is that this one is going to be a French tip and not the whole nail. Next, I'm going to be applying the charms, and I use the McCart rhinestone glue. I don't show it in the video though because it's actually so gross and has a bunch of stuff on it, so I didn't put it in the video. But I'm just using the basic little golden metal stars for the little fancy Frenches. And then for the maroon nail, I'm going in with these little flat back chrome balls. And just like the inspo pic, I'm using some gold ones, nothing fancy. And then this is where I looked at the maroon nails and was like, you know what? I actually do want to use an airbrush. So I got my dingy little airbrush out, and you mix acetone and whatever gel color you'd like. Now, because you are using acetone and gel, you need to wear a mask and gloves and prop a window open or something, okay? You need to have a well-ventilated area. You need to protect your lungs, protect your skin. And now I think we're finally done with these nails, and I like how they came out, and they're gonna look even better after we shape them. But I'm just gonna go in with my D&D top coat, and then I'll be back for the shaping. When I go in for the final filing of the nail, I take the actual tip off of the stand, and then I use my 100 grit file, and I go up and down rather than side to side, because when you file side to side you can get some uneven results, and we don't want that, okay? We're not trying to make lipstick nails right now. But I just go up and down, get them super crispy, and then yeah, there's not much to it, okay? It's very simple, especially when you're making press-ons. So for my packaging, I like to use double-sided tape and these little clear cases. I did for a short period of time have my own custom backing cards, but they were just getting crumpled and horribly misshapen while they were in transit, so I had to stop using those. And then what I'm using to put the nails into the little case is just like an old paintbrush that has the end ripped off, and there's a piece of double-sided tape on the end of that as well, and that's what I use to pick it up and transfer it into the case. Once all the nails are in there, I just get this big fluffy brush and I aggressively brush away all of the nail dust, and then I get a lint-free wipe and some isopropyl alcohol and wipe off any fingerprints or residue or anything that could be left on the top of the nails, so that when they're in the display case and they arrive to you, they're as clean as I can get them. And here is our finished press-on order. I'm so obsessed with how they come out. They're so crispy and classy and cute, and I just love them. I do this design pretty often actually, and I love them every time. Thank you all for watching. I love you all so much, and if you have any more ideas for the next videos that I may make, please let me know. And if you liked this video, please let me know. Subscribe. Thank you. Outro. Outro picture montage. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna shut up. Thank you for watching. Love you guys. Bye.